In this video, I want to introduce Twinkle, our new Maltese puppy, to all of our viewers and listeners. Twinkle is just 8 weeks old and we're delighted to have her with us. The point of my video today is not only to bring this beautiful little puppy to the attention of all who watch our videos, but to share with you my great concerns about what is happening in our world today, and to give especially to our American friends an idea of how we here in Britain feel about what has been happening in the Oval Office over the past few days. Now, I need to start off by telling everybody who's watching this, especially those who are in America, that Keir Starmer, although he is the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom, does not have any kind of mandate from the majority of the British people, nor is he supported by us, nor does he carry the authority of the people of this nation who are sovereign to engage in any kind of conflict or war. So let's make that very clear. He's also distrusted. He's seen as being someone who does not keep his word, but in fact lies. And his comments to JD Vance about there being free speech in our nation are completely and utterly false.
In his remarks at the Munich Security Conference, Vice President Vance condemned free speech violations in the UK.
And perhaps most concerningly, I look to our very dear friends, the United Kingdom, where the backslide away from conscience rights has placed the basic liberties of religious Britons in particular in the crosshairs. A little over 2 years ago, the British government charged Adam Smith Connor, a 51-year-old physiotherapist and an army veteran, with the heinous crime of standing 50 meters from an abortion clinic and silently praying for 3 minutes. Not obstructing anyone, not interacting with anyone, just silently praying on his own. And after British law enforcement spotted him and demanded to know what he was praying for, Adam replied simply, it was on behalf of the unborn son he and his former girlfriend had aborted years before. Now, the officers were not moved. Adam was found guilty of breaking the government's new buffer zones law, which criminalizes silent prayer and other actions that could influence a person's decision within 200 meters of an abortion facility. He was sentenced to pay thousands of pounds in legal costs to the prosecution. Now, I wish I could say that this was a fluke, a one-off crazy example of a badly written law being enacted against a single person. But no, this last October, just a few months ago, the Scottish government began distributing letters to citizens whose houses lay within so-called safe access zones, warning them that even private prayer within their own homes may amount to breaking the law. Naturally, the government urged readers to report any fellow citizen suspected guilty of thought crime. In Britain and across Europe, free speech, I fear, is in retreat. And in the interest of comedy, my friends, but also in the interest of truth, I will admit that sometimes the loudest voices for censorship have come not from within Europe, but from within my own country, where the prior administration threatened and bullied social media companies to censor so-called misinformation. Misinformation like, for example, the idea that coronavirus had likely leaked from a laboratory in China. Our own government encouraged private companies to silence people who dared to utter what turned out to be an obvious truth. So I come here today not just with an observation, but with an offer. And just as the Biden administration seemed desperate to silence people for speaking their minds, so the Trump administration will do precisely the opposite, and I hope that we can work together on that. In Washington, there is a new sheriff in town, and under Donald Trump's leadership, we may disagree with your views, but we will fight to defend your right to offer in the public square, agree or disagree.
Condemned free speech violations in the UK, particularly. Could you respond? What is your message?
I have an idea. We have the man right here. Come on. Let's go. Let's go, JD. We're putting you on stage.
Great. Yeah, look, I said what I said, which is that We do have, of course, a special relationship with our friends in the UK and also with some of our European allies, but we also know that there have been infringements on free speech that actually affect not just the British. Of course, what the British do in their own country is up to them, but also affect American technology companies and by extension American citizens. So that is something that we'll talk about today at lunch.
We've had free speech for a very, very long time in the United Kingdom, and it will last for a very, very long time. Well, no, I mean, certainly we wouldn't want to reach across US citizens, and we don't, and that's absolutely right. But in relation to free speech in the UK, I'm very proud of our history there.
Under his watch, Britain has become a most censorious nation. He has introduced measures which prevent people from speaking openly about their views and thoughts. He has introduced a form of thought police, and in fact, Vice President JD Vance referred to this, with the arrest and huge fines being levied upon people who have had the temerity to be in the street and to be thinking, to be praying. So he has thought police as well. And we really need to bring to the attention of not only the American people, but the rest of the world, that Keir Starmer and his minority Labour government have also been imprisoning people who they disagree with. We have political prisoners. I won't mention names here because we don't want this to be censored or deplatformed. We are looking to President Trump and to Vice President JD Vance to recognise that we have serious problems in Britain and we need your help. Now, I'm not suggesting that Britain should become the 51st state of the United States, but I'm saying that you need to look through this thin veneer that we've got here and come to our aid as best you can. And when I've been able to put Twinkle down, I'll come and share some more thoughts with you about that. So here, the final time perhaps on this video is Twinkle.